Uncertainty in a world of unknowns. As the fourth plenary session of the 20th CPC Central Committee concluded on Thursday, the curtain over China's next or 15th five-year plan is gradually being lifted. Serving as a critical link between the past and the future, this five-year period aims to reinforce fundamental strengths and advance China towards basically achieving socialist modernization by 2035. Long a focus of the international community, the communiqué released after the session highlighted China's key priorities, including high-quality development, technological self-reliance, and deepening comprehensive reforms. What signals did the plenary session send? How shall we read the messages buried in the communiqué, and what might the next years hold for China and beyond? Welcome to Shaping a Shared Future, China's Next 5 Years, a special program brought to you by CGTN. I'm Li Xin in Beijing. I'm extremely pleased to be joined here in the studio by Olena Prochenko, correspondent, anchor or journalist, shall I say, of China News Center of China Arab Television. From Sao Paulo, Brazil, by Leonardo Atuch, founder and CEO of Brazil 247, one of Brazil's leading news websites. From London by Jin Jing, Deputy Director of Xinhua News Agency London Bureau, and from Islamabad, Pakistan by Mudassar Iqbal, Deputy Director of Diplomatic and Global Affairs at the Associated Press of Pakistan. The warmest welcome to all of you. Now, as we start the program, let's just take a look at exactly how much media attention is being given to this topic. And we did a very quick research, and it's not difficult to see that there is a lot of attention. For instance, the BBC said China's top leaders are gathering in Beijing this week to decide on the country's key goals and aspirations for the rest of the decade. Here is AP News calling this session one of China's most important meetings. The Financial Times says the meat of the 15th five-year plan probably will be to show determined support for technology, innovation and security. Technology, innovation and security, these are the keywords they picked up. Reuters, the next five-year plan will be closely watched for how much emphasis China places on rebalancing its economy. Okay, they're putting the focus there. So obviously a lot of discussion is being had on this topic, but today it's a unique opportunity to have it from a media perspective and from media professionals from different parts of the world. I want to start with Mr. Jin. Being a Chinese, watching this 15th five-year plan being unveiled slowly. Why is it so important? What's the significance of this five-year plan?
This year's five-year plan is especially important because it is, as you mentioned, described as a key link between the past and the future. And it's basically saying that this is a crucial transition period, and China has made great progress in the past few decades in lifting hundreds of millions out of poverty and building a strong manufacturing base and becoming a global economic powerhouse. But now the country is facing new challenges and bigger goals, like upgrading its industries and achieving self-reliance in technology and moving toward a more sustainable and innovation-driven economy. So this period acts like a bridge, if you like. It connects all the achievements China has made so far with a longer-term vision laid out for 2035, which is a milestone, and that is to basically achieve a socialist modernization with advanced technology, improved quality of life and better environment, etc. And it's about consolidating gains while making big structural changes to get ready for the next stage. In other words, the 15th five-year plan is the moment where China shifts gears, if you like, from rapid growth focused on scale to more refined and quality-driven development that will set the foundation for future success.
Absolutely critical there, and we probably go into the nuanced details as to exactly why the 15th five-year plan is a link between the past and the future. But here are some of the goals that were outlined in the recommendations that were released after the plenum, the latest plenum, and here are the goals, for instance, significant advancements in high quality development, substantial improvements in scientific and technological self-reliance and self-strength, fresh breakthroughs in further deepening reform comprehensively. And then we also have notable cultural and ethical progress across society, further improvements in quality of life, major new strides in advancing the Beautiful China initiative, and further advances in strengthening the national security shield. We know it's a lot of details. We probably won't be able to get into some of them, but I want to go to our guests in Brazil, Mr. Artuj. How do you look at these big goals, right? There are quite a number of issues. How do you look at the areas that are highlighted as the key task for China for the next 5 years?
Well, first of all, thanks for the question, for the invitation to be here. I really like this idea of beautiful China. I've been to China 3 times this year, and I would say that beautiful China and beautiful Brazil are advancing hand in hand. Let me say that, well, Chinese companies have long been the largest investors in clean energy in Brazil. I can mention, for example, State Grid, that has invested more than any other company in transmission lines across the country. I can also mention new energy vehicles in Brazil. Sales are advancing quite fast, and brands like BYD and Great Wall Motors are leading the market here in Brazil. This year, I had the opportunity to organize some summits in Brazil during the BRICS conference in Rio. And one of the highlights came from Huawei. They presented advanced battery systems for wind energy storage. So I think that our 2 nations are united by the same goals, which is sustainable development. And I think there's also a very important opportunity for the future, which could be the creation of a common carbon credit market. So I think there are a lot of opportunities, but I would highlight this sustainable goal of a beautiful China, as you mentioned.
I see. So your attention from a Brazilian perspective is very much on the ecological building that's enshrined in the Beautiful China initiative. Thanks for that clarification. I believe that's also shared by many other countries. I want to go to Olena here in the studio. Originally, you're from Ukraine, but you have studied Chinese since you were a child. So looking at the sets of 6 goals that I mentioned, which one stands out to you, especially from your observation and personal experience working and living here in China?
Yeah. So what I was focusing on is how China was developed from high-speed development to high-quality development. And now we can see a lot of Chinese products. When before foreign bought product, he can see made in China. So it was a lot of questions under this link. But now when people buy products from China, they're very confident that this product, first of all, the price is available, yes, and good quality.
Yes.
So this 2 things, it's quite difficult to make it together, but China made it, and with a high speed. Like in Arabic countries, there are so many through initiative One Belt One Road initiative. There are so many projects that China making investment in building roads, buildings, bridges, ports. So it is China. Compare this to speed and quality. And also there are so many what I've been focusing in China about the speed. Like you can take a plane and go wherever you want in China just in a few hours. There are, even in small countryside, in small counties, there is train station. Or like last year I was in Yunnan province in city Tangchong. It's very famous for the hot springs.
Okay.
It's a very small place, but they have airport, This is about Chinese power, that they can build this airport even in the small places. And you can get from Beijing to all the spots. And this is how it's convenient to live in China.
So China actually delivers on the goals that it set. And I want to follow up with our guest in Pakistan, Mr. Iqbal. We just looked at these goals, right? There are some significant, very interesting words. For instance, significant advancements, substantial improvements, fresh breakthroughs, notable progress, further improvements, major new strides, and further advances. From your understanding, what's special in China's plan making, in prioritizing these areas, both the specific areas that have been chosen and the wording, and then, the efforts, the coordinated efforts that are involved in implementing these goals?
I was in the China last month, and I was invited by twice, and I went to Beijing and Yunnan province. I will say that China is a next level. A planet within a planet will not be a false claim from my side, as I witness, even though I've been to their China. But between Pakistan and China emphasized on significant advancement, substantial improvements, and fresh breakthroughs in areas like innovation, technology, and sustainable development, like driven by its long-term strategic objectives in Pakistan and China. We can say achieve high-quality growth, which innovation, which is the technological advancement, and to drive economic growth and reduce reliance on exports. The other point, enhance national security. They develop advanced technologies like AI, semiconductors, and renewable energy to strengthen China's global position. So increased global influence is also leading towards the other side, and improved industrial capacity is also a point towards China is leading the whole nations, I guess, as far as my opinion, and digital economies as well, I guess. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the communique, actually, it's very interesting that what China plans to do is clearly set out. There is no surprise coming in the future. You know what you're going to do. These are all written there, although the language sometimes can be a little bit convoluted. It's in Chinese, or it's in, official wording, or very subtle language that it takes a little bit of brain work, let's say, to denote it. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, is to break down, right, this official document for our audiences. And here's one paragraph, which I find to be quite interesting, because it says, according to the communique, it was stated that we should achieve greater self-reliance and strengths in science and technology, and steer the development of new quality productive forces. For the lay people, it could be a mouthful, but I want to go to Mr. Jin in London. Exactly, why is China emphasizing self-reliance and strengths, first of all? And second, what is this new productive forces? We've already talked about it, but remind us again, why is it important for China?
Okay, that's a great question. This communique really emphasized a greater self-reliance and strength in science and technology, and its goal to make breakthroughs in key and core technologies. This is a very important message, especially given everything that's been going on in the past few years. As we all know, that China has been dealing with some serious, grave geopolitical challenges, and some Western countries increasingly see China as a competitor or even a threat, especially when it comes to technology, security, and global influence. This rivalry impacts not just regional security, but also China's ability to access markets and the latest technologies. Things like export controls, investment restrictions, and what they call de-risking or decoupling measures by Western countries are making it harder for China to get things like advanced semiconductors and critical minerals. So it makes total sense why China is pushing so hard for self-reliance in advanced technology. I believe it's not just a choice, it's a kind of inevitable and absolutely crucial for China's development moving forward.
Mr. Atush, from your perspective, from the Brazilian perspective, what will be the impact of China pursuing greater technological breakthrough, innovation, new quality productive forces? How will it impact countries such as Brazil?
Well, this is very important because Brazil is trying to reindustrialize its economy, and it's relying on China for that. We are attracting many investments from China, from Chinese industries, and we also count that those industries will also bring research and technology. So it's important that this partnership also could become a win-win solution for Brazil. But it's very important to highlight the challenges that we face because, of course, if you think, for example, the foreign policy from America toward Latin America, it could be summarized very simply. It's to contain China's influence in the region. So there's going to be a lot of competition between China and the US. I can mention, for example, one sector, which is the data centers. Brazil is trying to attract data centers from China, from the US, both connected to clean energy projects also. And it's very important to present a very complete solution for countries like Brazil that are not self-reliant in technology, as you mentioned. So I think Brazil will try to balance its position between the West and also the global South. And we are trying to get the best from both sides. China's perception in Brazil is becoming better and better every year because people are getting used to Chinese products, Chinese technology, and also China's approach, which is much better than America's approach.
Mr. Iqbal, from Pakistan's perspective, how is that viewed, that China continue to pursue technological self-reliance and strength? And, there is a keen rivalry that's going on between the two world's major economies, and there are fallouts, certainly. So how is that viewed from Pakistan?
There are the multiple aspects from between China and Pakistan. So trade and investment, China continued focus on opening up that could lead to increase the trade and investment opportunities for the countries, particularly in sectors like technology, healthcare, and the renewable energy. So technological cooperation is like China push for a new quality productive forces that could facilitate cooperate with the countries in the areas like artificial intelligence and the green manufacturing belt. We have like Belt and Road Initiative, that is China BRI projects are expected to expand into the new domain like a digital connectivity for this region as far as my concern. Some potential areas are like collaboration between China and Pakistan under the new quality productive forces frameworks that includes already tell like AI, smart manufacturing, green technologies. So these are the areas which we can like to enhance and these side of like in the region and between Pakistan and China.
Well, the Chinese people, led by the Chinese leadership, are not, let's say, do not see the future in a rosy manner. Actually, in the communique, there are specific paragraphs about the challenges ahead. For instance, this paragraph which says that China remains in a phase of development where strategic opportunities exist alongside risks and challenges, while uncertainties and unforeseen factors are rising. Elena, I want to go to you there. China has been able to achieve pretty much, the goals it sets, some faster, some more slowly. But it seems that the Chinese leadership is not naive about what may come. From your understanding, what exactly are they referring to? What kind of uncertainty could be forthcoming in the next 5 years?
Yes, first of all, I want to say that Chinese people are very confident with Chinese government, and if we're talking about uncertainty, I think it's about not peace, because the China now is peacemaker, and what people around the world are worrying about is the third war. So I think that uncertainty, people don't know at peace what is going to be in the future. So I think, and we saw in September this military parade, like China showed everyone their power, but it was the statement that we protect the peace. So everyone knows that China, yes, we have this military forces, we are strong, we are powerful, but we protect peace. There is no peace, there is nothing.
We cannot take it for granted. Mr. Jing, looking at the kind of reporting from the mainstream international media, what have they said? What kind of questions have they asked? If you had the time to glance these papers or the media where you are they paying attention to the areas that China is focusing on? What are they saying about the implications for them?
I've noticed that foreign media are really zooming in on a few key themes, and one big focus is China's drive to be self-reliant in cutting-edge technology, and as we have already mentioned, and of course, and also its shift from rapid growth to the high-quality development, especially in key industries like semiconductors and renewable energy. Media outlets like the Financial Times and Reuters see this as China trying to reduce its dependence on Western technology amid ongoing geopolitical tensions, especially with the United States.
Are there major points of misperception from the Western mainstream media, according to your observation? Are there anything which they probably get it wrong, let's say, when they're talking about the 15th five-year plan? What's your observation?
Yeah, that's a good question, and this is very interesting to look at. While China's official narrative stresses cooperation with self-reliance, Western media tend to frame it as competition and confrontation, and this reflects deeper differences in perspective. China's narrative centers on national resilience and development, whereas Western analysis views the same policies through the lens of global power dynamics and strategic rivalry. In particular, Western outlets like The Economist and Reuters often interpret China's self-reliance in technology as part of China's response to US export controls and global technology rivalry, rather than focus on innovation, where they highlight issues such as so-called state subsidies and national access barriers, and the risk of technological decoupling. It's just how you see things very differently.
Yeah. Mr. Iqbal, let me go to you. You are Deputy Director of the diplomatic aspect of the association. How have your agency portrayed the 15th five-year plan and the whole planning system in China? And what are the local people saying about, the Chinese economic system, about planning ahead, and especially on the self-reliance part, in this decade, let's say?
For the media perspective, you can say that the people are really very keen to know Chinese people, and I have already in the different platforms I've said that people should have more contact to people contact. That is more important for the Chinese people and the Pakistan people. So this would be the main source, so that people can know each other and they can know how they are actually planning their their lifestyle, their culture. So that is the main point for my point of view. That is a very main point for the people who should contact with each other, and people to people contact is very important. The other side, China is coming towards that they are teaching the other nations that they are not teaching how to eat the fish. They are actually teaching the nation that how to catch the fish. So that is the point that people should know, everyone should know, that the self-reliance is the main point for the betterment, progress, and everything. So so China is a role model for me and for my from media organizations, and the way they are innovating in the media field, that is very impressive. And that is that actually they are trying to teach the media outlets, even though that with different aspect like technology, from technology side and the other sides as well, and the professionalism as well.
I think Mr. Iqbal mentioned something which is absolutely important, which is people-to-people understanding, people-to-people exchanges, and helping the world understand what China is doing. The communique is actually a document which is going to turn a lot of people off. It's not easy to understand. But behind the communique, you know, there is a very vital country with people trying to make a difference and break out of the old perception of China, you know, Chinese products not being reliable and so on and so forth. Things are going to change. Mr. Atouche, let me go to you. How about in your part of the world? In Latin America, it's a relatively new area where understanding, mutual understanding has just taken off, right, over the past few years, especially with initiatives such as the BRICS, to understand and to really appreciate what is happening in China, what is needed, what more efforts need to be done.
Well, I would say that basically we need to have more cooperation between media outlets, between universities, think tanks, because, well, even though Brazil is the biggest exporter to China regarding agricultural products, and also China is the biggest trading partner of Brazil, there is some misunderstanding about the role of the CPC, about a Chinese political system. So we need to understand each other better. I would say that Brazil, sometimes we do not know if we are a Western country or a global South country. So as you mentioned, BRICS conference this year was really important for us to understand better the dynamics of the global South. I think also that President Lula plays a key role in this understanding. So he really tries to make us understand how important is the relationship between Brazil and Asia and between Brazil and the global South countries. So we are learning that the world is much bigger than the West, even though, you know, exporters know that for a long time, but it needs to increase in Brazilian perception. So I think that the basic point is to improve the cooperation between media, just as we are doing right now. I would say also that legacy media in Brazil is a little bit colonized media, but we have new media in Brazil. But even for legacy media, it's impossible to ignore the role that China plays in this new order that we are seeing to emerge.
Well, we're in the beginning of a very important era, a lot of changes, right? I think this is going to be an exciting period of time. Of course, it's going to be a difficult period of time because there will be a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people are not happy even about what is happening in China, what kind of role China is playing. But as the communique says, we are going to have the confidence in ourselves. We are not going to let go. And I can foresee that if someone wants to bully China, it's not going to be a nice picture. So get ready if you're, you know, trying to play the old tricks. It doesn't work anymore, but we don't have the time for it. We have to leave it there. Many thanks to Olena Prochenko from China Arab Television. For Mr. Leonardo Atouche, founder of and CEO of Brazil 247, Jinjing, Deputy Director of Xinhua News Agency London Bureau, and Mudassar Iqbal, Deputy Director of Diplomatic and Global Affairs at the Associated Press of Pakistan. With that, we come to the end of this special edition hosted by me, Liu Xin, on CGTN on the 15th Five-Year Plan for China. As usual, you can follow me on Facebook and X using the handle Liu Xin in Beijing. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for watching. You've got the point.